एंशिएंट कॉस्मोलॉजी की नींव से लेकर लिविंग फेथ के दिल तक, हम उन कहानियों को जोड़ते हैं जो संस्कृतियों को आकार देती हैं। वेलकम टू यूरो कनेक्ट न्यूज। टुडे वी एम्बार्क ऑन एन एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी जर्नी into a hidden realm of Hindu mythology. We are not just exploring legends. हम उन प्राणियों के गहरे प्रतीकवाद को उजागर कर रहे हैं जो ब्रह्मांड के स्तंभ, पृथ्वी के संरक्षक और मानव ज्ञानोदय के स्वयं मार्गदर्शक हैं। This is a story of cosmic serpents. अपनी आंखें बंद करें। जो आप सांपों के बारे में जानते हैं उसे भूल जाएं। स्वाभाविक भय, घास में कुंडली मारा रस्सा, चेतावनी भरी फुफकार को भूल जाएं। I want you to imagine something deeper, something fundamental. Imagine a presence so vast, its coils encircle infinity itself. Imagine a being so ancient, it witnessed the first dawn of creation and will watch the last star flicker out. This being doesn't slither, it supports. आपके पैरों तले का ग्रह उसके पर्वतों और महासागरों के साथ उसके भव्य मणियों से जड़े फनों पर सहजता से टिका हुआ है। What you're imagining is not a monster. It is the first throne, the original pillar of existence. Welcome to the hidden world of the Nag. हम मनुष्यों की धूप भरी दुनिया को छोड़कर अधोलोक की जगमगाती मणि प्रकाशित गुफाओं में यात्रा करेंगे। We will meet kings who wear serpent crowns and queens whose eyes hold the wisdom of ancient rivers. हम ब्रह्मांड को आकार देने वाली घटनाओं के साक्षी बनेंगे, शाश्वत विवादों से जन्मे मंत्र सुनेंगे, and discover how these serpent beings became woven into the very DNA of Hindu philosophy, art, and spirituality. This is not a tale of good versus evil. This is a story of profound duality, of poison and nectar, of chaos and foundation, of the terrifying guardian and the benevolent protector. ये उन सर्प राजाओं की कहानी है जो ब्रह्मांड को संभाले हुए हैं। Prepare yourself. We are about to see mythology not as a collection of stories, but as a mirror reflecting the deepest truths of existence itself. Our story begins not with a bang, but with a breath. ब्रह्मांड की सुस्त, स्थिर श्वास कुंडलियों के बिस्तर पर सो रही है। To understand the Nag, we must start at their genesis, recorded in texts like the Mahabharata and the Puranas. Our universe, in Hindu cosmology, is populated by the children of the great sage Kashyap, the progenitor. He had many wives, and from them sprang all creatures. From his wife, Kadru, were born the Nag, 1,000 powerful serpent sons. But here's the first twist. Their very birth is wrapped in a story of deception and a curse that defines their physical form. कद्रू ने अपनी बहन सहापत्नी विनता के साथ समुद्र मंथन से निकले दिव्य घोड़े उच्चैश्रवा के रंग पर बाजी लगाई। To win the bet, Kadru ordered her Nag sons to hang from the horse's tail like black hairs, disguising its true color. Some refused this deception. In his anger, their father Kashyap decreed they would be vulnerable. The sage Astik later explains that the nag's poisonous fangs and susceptibility to fire were the result of their mother's curse, and the broader curse of their existence being tied to human fear and predation, most notably by Garuda. Yet to call them mere snakes is a catastrophic misunderstanding. They are divine shapeshifters. They can appear as magnificent multi-hooded cobras, as beings with a human torso and a serpent's tail, or as resplendent humans distinguished only by the emerald green hue of their skin or the faint scale-like pattern on their arms. They are beings of immense power, intelligence, and longevity. If their origin is complex, their home is nothing short of breathtaking. Their kingdom is Padal Lok, the seventh and most magnificent layer of the underworld. Forget Christian hellfire. Imagine this: a realm where light comes not from the sun, but from the glow of colossal gemstones embedded in cavern walls. Cities are built from polished crystal and molten gold. Rivers of sweet water and honey flow through gardens where trees bear pearls instead of fruit. The air is perfumed with eternal flowers. The Vishnu Purana describes it as a place where the deities, Danavs and Nag enjoy all beautiful things by virtue of their good luck. This is crucial. The Nag are lords of the earth's hidden wealth. They are the guardians of all subterranean treasures, gemstones, minerals, metals, and the life-giving waters that feed springs and wells. Their prosperity is legendary, and their palaces are said to surpass even those of the gods in Indra's heaven in sheer opulence. Their society is structured, ruled by great Nagraj, serpent kings. Ancient texts and inscriptions list many royal Nag lineages. Some of the most famous kings include Vasuki, the king used as the churning rope; Takshak, the powerful, often vengeful king central to the Mahabharata; Shesh, Anand, the king of all Nag and the cosmic foundation; Karkotak, the Nag king of the Kathmandu Valley, Muchukunda, a name found across several texts and folklores. But why do they live underground? This ties into a profound geo-mythology. Across South Asia, numerous regions carry origin stories of being primordial lakes drained for human settlement. The Hindu Purana of Kashmir and the legends of Nepal's Kathmandu Valley state these lands were once vast lakes, the exclusive domain of the Nag. When sages or gods, like Manjushri in Nepal, drained the water to create habitable land, they displaced the original Nag inhabitants. To atone for this displacement and to ensure the land's fertility, humans built a sacred pact. They would venerate the Nag, build them underwater palaces in remaining ponds like Taudaha in Nepal, and honor them as the true original owners of the land and its vital waters. This isn't just myth, it's a spiritual contract between humanity and the ecosystem. This leads us to their most important, most staggering role. The role that literally holds everything up, the cosmic pillar, Shesh Narayan. Beneath the 7 layers of Patal, in the foundational waters of the Garbhodak Ocean, rests the greatest of them all, Shesh, also called Anant, the endless. The Vishnu Puran gives a majestic description. His body is as white as a mountain of quartz. His 1,000 hoods, each adorned with glittering crown-like jewels, are spread wide, and upon this living canopy rests the earthly sphere. Our world is not floating in space. It is being carried. This image of Shesh as the supporter of the world became a central icon in temple sculpture, showing him with Vishnu reclining on his coils. But Shesh is more than a cosmic atlas. He is a conscious, devoted entity. His name means the remainder, for he remains when all else is dissolved at the end of a cosmic cycle. He represents infinite time and space, the stable, silent background against which the colorful drama of creation plays out. Upon this serpentine bed, in a state of divine, dream-filled slumber, rests Lord Vishnu, the preserver. This union is called Shesh Shayan or Shesh Narayan. The serpent is the foundation. The god is the active principle resting upon it. Their relationship is one of perfect symbiosis. Vishnu is not Shesh's master, but his beloved companion. In turn, Shesh is not a servant, but the most exalted devotee. This is our first and most important lesson about Nag. They are the essential support for divine order. Without the serpent, the god has no place to rest. Without the stable foundation of time and space, preservation is impossible. The most divine being in the universe requires the serpent to fulfill his role. And this celestial relationship has earthly echoes. Shesh is believed to have incarnated twice, first as Lakshman, the ever-devoted brother of Lord Ram in the Ramayana, and second as Balaram, the elder brother of Lord Krishna in the Mahabharata, whose weapon was the plough and whose symbol was the serpent. In both, the supportive, foundational nature of the Nag is preserved. From this place of eternal support, we now move to a story of cataclysmic action. For another Nag king was about to become the axis around which the entire universe would turn. If Shesh embodies stillness, his brother Vasaki represents dynamic, transformative power, and his moment of cosmic glory and agony came during the Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean of milk. The Dev, gods, and Asur, demons, locked in eternal struggle, had grown weak. To regain their strength and immortality, they needed the Amrit, the nectar of immortality, hidden at the bottom of the cosmic ocean. The plan was audacious. Use Mount Mandra as a churning rod, the great serpent king Vasaki as the churning rope, and rotate the mountain to agitate the ocean. But how do you convince a Nag king to be used as a tool? The texts like the Ramayana offer a fascinating detail. When initially approached, even the mighty bird, Garuda, could not bring Vasaki from Patal. It took Lord Shiv himself to reach his hand into the underworld. Vasaki, recognizing the divine purpose, coiled gently around Shiv's arm like a sacred bracelet, allowing himself to be drawn up. This moment is pivotal. It shows the Nag's voluntary participation in the grand design, a sacred duty, not subjugation. The churning began. The Dev held Vasaki's tail, the Asur his head. Back and forth they pulled. The mountain rotated, grinding the ocean. From the unimaginable strain, heat, and friction, something lethal emerged from Vasaki's mouths. Halaho, a smoke-like poison of such potency it could end all life in the three worlds. Panic ensued. The poison spread, threatening to dissolve creation itself. In this moment of cosmic crisis, the solution came from the great ascetic, Lord Shiv. Moved by the pleas of all beings, Shiv gathered the virulent Halaho into his hands and drank it. But he did not let it pass. He held the world-ending poison in his throat. The venom crystallized there, turning his neck a permanent brilliant blue. Thus, he earned the name Nilkant, the blue-throated one. Let's pause here. This is one of the most significant events in all of mythology, and the Nag is at its absolute center. The serpent's gift, poison. Vasaki's participation produced not just nectar, but the ultimate symbol of destruction. The divine transformation. Shiv's act transformed that destruction. He didn't destroy the poison, he contained and transmuted it. The lethal became an ornament, a permanent symbol of his power to absorb and neutralize the universe's darkest, most destructive forces. The duality sealed. The Nag provides the raw, dangerous power of nature. Poison. The god demonstrates the consciousness required to master it. They are two sides of the same cosmic coin. Without the serpent's poison, Shiv would not have his defining emblem of supreme sacrifice and power. From the churning, of course, emerged miraculous treasures. The goddess Lakshmi, the divine physician Dhanvantri with the Amrit, the wish-fulfilling cow Kamdhenu, and finally, the moon that adorns Shiv's hair. Every one of these world-shaping treasures was born from the friction created by the Nag King's body. From this act of cosmic cooperation, we turn to a story of primal, familial hatred. The eternal feud between the Nag and Garuda, the golden-winged king of birds, the vehicle, Vahan, of Lord Vishnu. Their enmity is born from a family quarrel between their mothers, the two wives of Kashyap, Kadru, mother of Nag, and Vinata, mother of Garuda and Arun, the sun's charioteer. Through a trick, Kadru enslaved Vinata. To free his mother from this bondage, Garuda was given an impossible task by the Nag: steal the Amrit from the jealous grip of the gods in heaven. What follows is an epic solo mission. The Mahabharata describes Garuda's journey in thrilling detail. He defeats celestial armies, blinds the gods with a dust storm created by his mighty wings, and breaks the iron-spiked wheel protecting the nectar. His power is so terrifying that even Indra's thunderbolt cannot stop him. He succeeds, takes the Amrit, and fulfills the Nag's condition, freeing his mother. But Garuda is not just a dutiful son. He is the natural predator and divine nemesis of the serpent race. The Mahabharata repeatedly uses the simile of Garuda swooping on a serpent to describe a mighty, unstoppable warrior. He is said to hunt and eat snakes. This is not just a biological fact in mythology, it is a cosmic principle. The eagle represents the soaring spirit, the sun, the upward movement towards enlightenment. The serpent represents the earthly, the underworld, the coiled energies of the material realm. Their battle is eternal. Yet, in a stunning twist, this rivalry produces humanity's greatest shield against the Nag's danger. Contained within the Garuda Purana is a section called the Garuda Upanishad. This is not a story, but a manual for survival. It is a collection of potent mantras, sacred diagrams, yantra, and meditative visualizations dedicated to Garuda, invoked for one purpose: to cure snakebite and neutralize all poisons. Think about the profound philosophy here. The cause of the affliction, the serpent, and the source of the cure, its eternal enemy, are part of a single, closed system. The universe provides both the problem and the solution. It acknowledges the real, physical danger of the serpent while providing a spiritual and ritualistic technology to overcome it. This is Hindu mythology, at its most brilliantly practical and philosophical. But the Garuda Purana has another, darker lesson about Nag. One that brings them from the cosmic scale down to the intimate level of human morality and the afterlife. The Nag's relationship with humanity is a tapestry woven with threads of reverence, fear, intimate union, and karmic consequence. No text integrates Nag into human affairs more deeply than the Mahabharata. They are not distant gods, but active, complex characters. The Serpsatra, snake sacrifice. The epic's very frame is set by the Serpsatra, a genocide ritual conducted by King Janmejaya to exterminate all Nag, in revenge for the death of his father, Parikshit, by the bite of the Nag king, Takshak. This horrific event, which threatens to wipe out the serpent race, is only stopped by the intervention of the sage Asti, himself the son of a Nag mother. It is a story of cyclical vengeance and the fragile peace brokered by wisdom. Arjun and the Nag princess. The Pandav Prince Arjun's journey includes a profound supernatural marriage. During his exile, he is drawn into the Ganga and taken to Patal, where he marries Ulupi, the daughter of a Nag king. She gives him a son, Iravan, and a boon that makes him invincible in water. This union is a classic motif, the human hero gaining power, legitimacy, and esoteric knowledge through alliance with the chthonic, underworld, spirits of the land. The Nag as savior. In another episode, Arjun's great-grandson, King Parikshit, he the same one later killed by Takshak, is saved in his mother's womb when the sage Astik uses his powers to halt a celestial weapon. The connection between the human and Nag lineages is constant and crucial. The karmic serpent, punishment and rebirth. This brings us to the Garuda Purana's second major contribution to Nag lore, its function as a guide to the afterlife and the laws of karma. This text, recited during funeral rites, graphically details the journey of the soul and the nature of rebirth. It presents a stark, moral universe. Specific, grievous sins lead directly to specific rebirths. The text is clear. Souls stained by certain atrocities do not get a human or divine form. They are reborn into the reptile realm. Who is condemned to become a nag or a lowly serpent? The list includes the violator of his guru's bed, a supreme betrayal of trust, the murderer of a woman or a child, the person who poisons another, the treacherous friend, and the profoundly ungrateful person. In this context, the serpent form is a karmic prison. It is not a glorious destiny, but a horrific regression. The coiled body becomes a physical manifestation of twisted, venomous deeds. The poison in their fangs is the externalization of the internal poison of their past sins. This view creates a terrifying duality. The nag can be a divine king in Patal and the miserable rebirth of a sinner. The same form contains both the highest divine heritage and the lowest karmic state. Living worship. Nag as protectors. In stark contrast to this dark karmic vision, exists a vibrant living tradition of worship that has lasted for over 2,000 years. Across villages in India and Nepal, Nag are revered as Gram Devta, village deities, and Kshetrapal, guardians of the land. They are the protectors of water sources, tanks, wells, ponds, and rivers. Before digging a new well, many communities will propitiate the Nag believed to reside there. They are guardians of thresholds and treasure. This worship culminates in the annual festival of Nag Panchami. On this day, in the month of Shravan, July to August, serpent deities are celebrated. Clay images of serpents are installed above doorways. Offerings of milk, honey, and rice are made at anthills, believed to be gateways to the Nag realm, or at designated Nag stones. People fast and visit ancient Nag shrines, like the one at Mannarshala in Kerala, or countless Nagathan, serpent stones, across the countryside. A key ritual involves a priest applying a paste of cow dung to the sides of doorways, often imprinting it with the image of a five-hooded serpent for protection. The timing is agricultural. Nag Panchami coincides with the monsoon, when snakes naturally emerge from their flooded holes. The festival is a sacred pact. We will not harm you, and in return, you will protect our homes, our children, and our crops. It is a beautiful, ecological ritual that sanctifies a necessary coexistence. This reverence extended to royalty. From the Pallav dynasty of South India, whose name means sprout, and who claimed descent from a Nag union, to the ancient Khmer kings of Cambodia. Ruling houses across Southeast Asia solidified their legitimacy by claiming descent from the union of a human founder and a Nagan, serpent princess. To rule the land, you had to be kin to its original divine owners, the Nag. From kings and farmers, we now turn to the gods themselves to see how the Nag became not just companions, but essential parts of divine iconography. To see the Nag's ultimate acceptance, look at the very bodies of the gods. They have moved from being independent beings to becoming sacred adornments, symbols of a god's nature. Vishnu rests upon Shesh, as we have seen. The serpent is his foundation, his bed, his support. Shiv wears them as ornaments. A live serpent coils around his neck as a garland, Nagabharn. Others curl around his arms as bracelets and his matted locks as a cord. This is the ultimate image of mastery. Shiv, the great ascetic and lord of yoga, does not fear the serpent's poison. He embraces and decorates himself with it. The wild, deadly primal energy of nature, the serpent, is completely tamed and becomes an ornament of his supreme power. It signifies his control over death and all chaotic forces. Ganesh, the remover of obstacles, often has a snake curled comfortably around his belly, acting as a belt to hold his large stomach. The fear-inducing creature becomes a practical, gentle support for the benevolent god. Balram, the incarnation of Shej, is always depicted with serpent hoods emerging behind his head, and his primary weapon is the plow, symbolizing his connection to the fertile earth, the Nag god. This integration points to the final, most profound destination of the Nag symbol, the human body itself. The inner serpent, Kundalini Shakti, Hindu tantric and yogic philosophy, presents a stunning internal map. The human body is a microcosm of the universe. And at its base, in the Muladhara chakra at the bottom of the spine, lies a dormant power. This power is called Kundalini. The word means the coiled one. She is visualized as a sleeping serpent, coiled 3.5 times around a symbolic ling. This Kundalini is the individual's reservoir of divine potential, spiritual energy, and latent consciousness. In most humans, she sleeps. The goal of yoga, meditation, and tantric practice is to awaken her. When awakened, this inner serpent uncoils and begins to rise. She moves up the central channel of the spine, the Sushumna Nadi. As she rises, she pierces and activates each of the 6 major energy centers, chakra, along the way, from the base, earth, to the navel, water, to the solar plexus, fire, to the heart, air, to the throat, ether/sound, to the third eye, perception. Finally, she reaches the crown of the head, the Sahasrara chakra, 1,000-petaled lotus. Here, the serpent, the feminine, energetic Shakti, unites with the pure consciousness, the masculine static Shiv residing there. This union is described as the highest bliss, enlightenment, or moksha, liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Let's absorb the sheer brilliance of this metaphor. The Nag, serpent, travels from the underworld, Patal, to the heavens. The Kundalini, serpent, travels from the lowest chakra, base of spine, to the highest chakra, crown of head. The macrocosm and the microcosm mirror each other perfectly. The Nag is no longer an external deity to be feared or worshipped. It is the very path to godhood within you. The coiled serpent at the base of your spine is your personal Shesh, waiting to support your journey to enlightenment. The fear of the snake is transformed into the reverence for the most sacred energy inside you. This completes the Nag's journey, from a cosmic foundation pillar to a feared earthly creature, to a divine adornment, and finally, to the very mechanism of human spiritual awakening. We have traveled far. We have descended to the gem-lit halls of Patal and met its majestic kings. We have stood on the shore of the cosmic ocean and watched a Nag king become the axis of creation. We have witnessed the birth of poison and its divine transformation into an ornament. We have seen the eternal feud that produced healing chants and the karmic laws that can trap a soul in a serpent's form. We have seen farmers offer milk to stone snakes, and kings claim them as ancestors. We have seen them coiled around the necks of gods, and finally, discovered them coiled within ourselves. The story of the Nag is, ultimately, the story of integration. It is the story of how a sophisticated, ancient culture looked at one of the most dangerous creatures in its environment and refused to see only a monster. Instead, it saw a cosmic principle, Shash supporting the world, a transformative power, Vasiki in the churn, a moral lesson, the karmic serpent, a protector, the village Nag, a source of legitimacy, the Nag ancestor, a symbol of mastered energy on Shiv's neck, and finally, the divine self, Kundalini within, The Nag holds all opposites in its coils: death and immortality, fear and protection, curse and blessing, earth and heaven, matter and spirit. When you see a cobra carved on a temple wall or its image on Nag Panchami, remember, you are not looking at a primitive animal totem. You are looking at one of the most profound and layered symbols ever conceived by the human imagination. A symbol that whispers that the foundation of order is rooted in the endless coils of time. That creation requires embracing friction and poison. That the key to heaven lies in awakening the serpent deep within the earth of your own body. The great Anant Shesh continues his endless dream-filled slumber. Vishnu rests upon him. The world turns. And in the silent depth of every person who seeks, the inner serpent sleeps, waiting for the call to rise. It has been an honor to guide you through the coils of this magnificent mythology. And so, the story of the Nag reveals a timeless truth, that our deepest fears can often hide our greatest sources of power and wisdom. From EuroConnect News, thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of myth. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more explorations into the stories that connect our world.